Hello everybody, this is Trent and welcome to Train Simulator once again. I do apologize for the slightly slower start. I forgot to use OBS for a second there. But yes, with that having been said, welcome back to Train Simulator and the West Coast Mainline Trent Valley Route by Thompson Interactive. Yes indeed. So we're here today on the route, starting out in the Class 350, not the one that's included with this route, but the Armstrong Powers Enhanced one, which is really laggy for some reason. Okay, so there's a certain startup procedure to this, which I forgot. Okay, I think it's Master Key, yes.
Master Key Simulations!
I mean, it's supposed to model by Master Key Simulations. Okay, so if that's taken care of, I'm gonna try to memorize the setup procedure here. I probably won't though. Alright, Control 1. Gonna hit F7 for some reason. Let's hope I do this right.
Yeah.
If not, that's gonna be really embarrassing. Okay, throw in. Dairy off, doors have closed. And we are off! Alright, hello BSF Kids 7777, welcome to the show. And yeah, so we're starting out here at Rugby Station. We've already picked up our passengers.
Oh yeah, the train I'm gonna be on, Domtron, it's mostly likely gonna be an F40, an F59 PHI, because we only own one of the other one.
And Domtron explode. Yeah, so I'm joined by Domtron and Hoobie today.
Yes, you said it right.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, so welcome to the West Coast Travel. I didn't actually check out, I just kind of rushed through Rugby a bit. We might check it out a bit later, but, welcome to the routes. And, as you see today, I decided to take the Armstrong Powerhouse Class 350 because recently I purchased the Armstrong Powerhouse Class 350 Enhancement Pack. This was because, personally, I think that the default, because oddly enough, this route does give you a Class 350, except the Class 350 included with this route is garbage. But luckily, this is the Armstrong Powerhouse one, which is actually pretty good, I will say. The nice sounds are nice, and everything's nice, and everything's great.
Also, no need to fear, we got popcorn.
Yay. And yeah, so we're starting on the route, and so it seems that this route is 50 miles long. I thought this route was 70 miles long for some reason. But, no, the full route is this full route is actually 50 miles long, which isn't too bad, but at the same time, it's a bit short. Which I guess is not necessarily a bad thing for the time being. And also, one other thing about the route, that's a pretty fast route. I was thinking, because oddly enough, this route is 50 miles long, but it only takes about half an hour to complete this entire route. And I think that would have to do with the high speed limit. So, example, right here, we only just started at a speed that's already up to 100 miles per hour. We're nearly doing that. And yes. And of course, I've taken this Class 350 in the London Midland livery because that's the railway company that runs on this route in real life. And to start with the 350, we'll be driving on the slow line to make this a bit more authentic. We won't be stopping.
Slow line is 100 miles per hour.
We won't be stopping at any stations because we're an express. But yeah, so while I say that, the slow line is 100 miles per hour. Yeah, there's only the slow line here we're allowed to do 100 miles per hour. Man, I wonder how fast we're going to be able to go in a bit. Because, I should mention, this will be a round-trip journey. Once we get to Stratford. We're gonna be switching trains and heading back down the other way. But with how short this route is, that shouldn't take too long. Also, I wish this train had cruise control, but it doesn't.
Wait, are you sure it doesn't?
Yes.
Wait, look down.
Yep, no sign of a cruise control at all.
Wait, that doesn't seem right to me. I thought this train had one.
Nope. Despite being a modern train.
Anyway, you also have Hoobie here.
Okay, this is nice. So here comes some.
You already said.
Here comes some consistency speed. Let's get to slow down to 75, and then we get to speed up again to 125.
It's a curve. What do you want?
It can't be a curve. Is that a curve? It's a curve. No, it's a kink. Really, I'm having to slow down for this.
Oh, so now we're getting kinky?
Yes. So yeah, it's not even a curve, it's a kink. So good job, Brits, with your excellent route design. Anyway, so this route, I haven't actually driven this route until today because I want to get my initial reaction. This route, though, I know for sure is actually a very nice route, as in the scenery. Like, the big problem with this route, well, I say problem, is that it's very linear. Oh, wait. Side note, are you telling me that the only reason why we slowed down there is for this bridge? Oh. Okay, no, it's just these silly points, actually. Yeah. Okay, I bet you if we run on the fast line, then we won't have to worry about that. Anyway, this road is actually pretty nice in terms of the scenery, but again, it is rather linear. But I guess talk about the good things about this route. Apparently, it also has good sound effects, as I'm hearing. And really, this route should just be the standard for routes in Train Simulator, because this route, again, is quite nice. And has a lot of unique gadgets as well. So it's not like a dovetail route where like they copied and pasted the assets from different routes. This route has mostly new assets, and that includes the track, as you can see. Okay, this is an interesting curve. This curve looks like it should be slower, but actually, yeah, the speed limit actually for this curve for normal trains is 110. Nice.
Well, that would be why.
Although Flandria can do 125, so yeah.
Well, yeah, because you can do 125 with tilting train.
Anyway. Nice, you have taken a 12-card consist because 12-card consists are life. Also, one interesting thing about this train is that it says the max speed here is 100 miles per hour. Yeah, I know for a fact that in this game, this train can do 121. Hello, welcome to the show. I'm not sure if that's actually realistic and the trains just limit to 100 miles per hour on most tracks, or Armstrong Powell's being a bit unrealistic, because I know Armstrong Powell's probably tinkered with the physics. So yes.
Yeah, one of my favorite trains actually. One of my favorites. Well, I've actually been on a lot of trains in my time.
Oh.
If you know, Amtrak actually runs down to Canada.
Yes, it does.
It runs into Canada, into Vancouver.
Yep.
And I think let me give you the list of trains I've been on. I think I've been on a P-42. I think I've been on a train pulled by a P-42.
Okay, the slang on this game is a bit odd.
Because, I think they run P-42s down into Canada.
Actually up into Canada, but okay.
Up into Canada, yeah. I think they run it up into Canada, yeah. Yeah, well, who actually owns our rail company is actually our bus company, TransLink. Not to be, well, yesterday I was, when we were talking, I was on BC Transit. It's a different company.
Oh, BC Transit. Oh.
They run most of BC, the Vancouver area. That's
also, it's starting to get dark.
What do you mean dark?
you want to know what time? What
Dumb
time is
Trump,
it over
of course
there?
it's starting to get dark. It's the United States.
What time is it over there?
Well, currently right
5.
now it's 5.
Do you know what time is it? It is in Vancouver right now.
It's 2 o'clock. We know.
Yep.
Ooh, the super elevation is keeping our trains. Another 75? Are you kidding me?
That's how I love this every time. Like, literally, I know like people in the UK. Literally, I know. Literally, like it's like 3 in the morning when it's 5 o'clock here.
Right.
Speaking of Britain,
Anyways.
I was just doing. Oh, wait, that's a single yellow. Yeah, we got to slow down. Yeah, I was just doing. I'm about to reach 120 miles per hour, but no, now we get to slow down all the way down to 75, and then we probably have to speed all up again. I
Oh, yeah,
hate these inconsistent speed limits, and we're gonna speed.
I've been practicing something a lot for Dom Trump.
No.
Does he know what it is?
Probably. Okay, we're gonna slow down time actually. Just.
Why does he know what it is?
It's
How does he know?
it's the remix of the thing.
Yes. No, just don't tell. When he unmutes himself, I'm gonna do it.
Maybe not on the stream, actually.
Why would no one want to hear how the moon must feel on the stream?
I don't know.
Why does no one want to know that we're
Well-
actually gonna make a remake of Thomas the Magic Railroad and I'm the head of the soundtrack?
Okay, well we don't want to spoil the surprise, and also Snoopy apparently wants to hear, so I don't know. Oh,
Well,
yeah.
no, this is a teaser for the for Thomas the Magic
Nah.
Railroad.
Okay, now I like how the speed limit has not going down to 7. Well, I say inconsistent. The speed limit is not only going down to 75. It seems like it's not going to go any higher for now. As we're coming up on New Neaton.
Oh yeah, that's actually not my favorite train startup. Is the F42? It's P42. I think it was called.
Wow, this game is laggy.
P42 is not my favorite startup.
Okay, I don't know why the frame rate is so atrocious today.
My favorite locomotive startup has
Oh.
to be the EMD SD40
Oh.
startup. That's like my favorite locomotive startups. The EMD SD40.
Oh, hello, neutral sections.
Yeah.
What frame rate are we running at?
Well, and I actually found out that early Train Simulator 2, well, NV3 actually got the sound of it right. That's
Wow.
that's one sound they got right was their SD40.
This is a little last 15867 for the ugliest train, huh? Okay, now we have a curve going through this station. Okay, it's also like I don't know if it's because I need to clean up my computer or because of this route. Yeah. Although it's only been a month since I did the Virgin Trains live stream. Careful.
Sorry, I have a cold.
Of course. Anyway, I guess now I'm sticking the speed limit of 75. Okay then.
I think I know something we could say to the viewers.
Holy moly, where does this track go?
Now, how about we just give an announcement for the parody?
Nah.
We should not just announce it that it's gonna come out.
Nah.
I think they already know.
Ooh, I like how the okay, there's some interesting scenery. Okay, I'm now just looking at the station because it's interesting. This goes to somewhere else. Yeah, it goes to somewhere else. And then I go back up to here. Yeah, this is a red because reasons. Yeah, so the train goes up here. The overhead wires just end. There's no electrification through here, so you can't drive electric trains through here. And the track goes this way. Very interesting route design, I will say. Yeah, what about over here? Oh, this goes over here, over some bridges. Oh, this is actually interesting. Okay, and then we go down here, and then it joins back up with the main line. Alright. So that was our mini explanation of I forget what that station was called. Yeah, first time on the route, so you gotta, you know. Anyway, so since we're on the slow line, I guess now the spin is gonna reduce yourself to 75. Yeah, so I like how on the slow line, the speed limit is at 125 for a bit, starting from rugby. Then when you get to, then you don't even get that far into this section of the route. Then the speed limit goes down to 75, and I guess now it's gonna stay at 75. So fair enough, game. Oh, the ETA still isn't going down at all. I don't know if that's because. Actually, yeah, nah. Yeah, no, the ETA should be fine for the most part. Anyway. You know, I'd say this route right up to stand with the North Jersey coastline route, because North Jersey coastline route is a it's actually, for a dovetail, it's a nice looking route. And this route is along those same standards. I think even the roads are, yeah, roads are custom. Hello, he's now fine. Welcome to the show. I'll go down to 60. Yeah. And this class 450 is nice to drive as well. Like I said earlier. I guess, in fact, for anyone that didn't already know, this enhanced spec isn't actually for like the old class 450, you know, like the or class 450, whatever it is. This is actually an enhancement for the this is actually for the class 3 or class 450 that's included with the Portsmouth Direct line. And since the class 450 is so similar to the class 350, in fact, they're almost the same train.
Oh yeah,
They pretty much took the 450.
Here's an interesting fact of what we have here in Canada.
Okay.
We have these automatic trains that literally, what I believe is they're the Canadian equivalent of Pacers.
Huh. And yeah,
That's how uncomfortable they are. They're loud. They're uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, the Pacer. I trash that train all the time.
Do you know how they made them?
Yeah.
How did they make them?
Holy moly, Okay, this is actually an easy part of the route. We have this. We're now been submerged. I think. So I went through Smithwick Gallant Bridge. I don't even know where that is. Probably not. Yes.
Brownie, do you know how they first created the Pacers?
They use bus bodies.
Yeah, they actually used it actually saved British Rail money.
Oh, what is this? Atherstone Station. Okay. Oh, that's a pretty short platform. Can't fit much more than 4 coaches on there.
My friend hates DMUs. He likes green energy.
Oh.
But real Americans. Oh yeah, we have I think you might know, we have a little candy here in Canada that is not in America.
See, Smithville's most close where the IRL. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, most Americans won't even know what this candy is. But you guys might know about it. Because it was banned from America.
Anyway, so, yeah, so right now...
Surprise egg.
Yes, the Kinder Surprise Egg. We have them here in Canada, and because
I
heard they're like, I heard there was like a live stream, a person was eating Kinder Surprise Egg. He was like, what is that? It's a Kinder Surprise. It's like, what's a Kinder Surprise Egg? Because they don't have them in America. They don't get them in America.
Yeah, I've actually heard of Kinder Surprise Eggs from way back in the day because I watched Leo Kim video. And for the longest time I wondered why only sell it in the United States.
They were banned.
Then I found out why.
It's a choking hazard.
Yeah, so all enough
For
though.
some reason, that big plastic thing is a choking hazard.
Yeah, so, oddly enough, though, they do have a variant, though, of the Kinder Surprise that is still here in the United States, and they were able to get around the choking hazard law by basically splitting the egg in half, and one side was the sweet chocolate, and the other side was the toy itself. But it was a lot more exposed.
Oh yeah, but I found let me think. It's just ridiculous American laws. Literally, guns are legal, but Kinder Surprise eggs are illegal.
Yeah. Hey, where's Domtron?
He's muted himself. I don't think he wants to hear the soundtrack.
Yeah, he's been very quiet for some reason. Domtron, are you alive? I think I know why. Probably just constant interruptions.
Maybe he. Okay.
I think I know why. I think because of the accident, Domtron's probably going back and forth and stuff to take care of some soldiers, so he's probably using his microphone while he's not on his computer.
Here's something interesting. I've actually been in a bus accident before.
What? When did this happen?
I think it was July of 2019.
That wasn't that long ago.
It was when a car collided with the side of a bus I was on. No, let me tell you the story from the beginning. I think everyone on the stream would love to hear.
We're
this.
going up on Polesworth. Actually,
So
wait. Everyone, we gotta. Okay, I don't know why this is a big deal now, but yeah, Polesworth is coming up, and we must give it a big. I don't know. It's pretty interesting,
Okay.
actually.
All right, so let me start from the very, very beginning.
Actually,
Now-
what kind of station is this?
Now, what happened is I came back from having a bus ride on.
Wait a
on
minute.
roads.
Look at this
So, coming back-
station.
I'm coming back on the Pacer train. On what I call the Canadian Pacers, I told you. Or here in Canada, my friend Jeff calls them big piles of scrap.
Hmm.
I was coming back on a big pile of scrap. This one was by a company called UTDC. Have you heard of UTDC?
Not really.
Or Bombardier?
Heard of Bombardier.
They made the big piles of scrap for a while. For a bit, they made the big pile of scrap, but UTDC first made the big pile of scrap in like the 1980s, so I was on a big pile of scrap. We got to a station, I get off, I take a bus, I'm gonna take a bus home. I get on this bus and one of the fans is on so it's defogging. Even though this bus is air conditioned and the air conditioner's on. So I get on and the driver is a female. She this is important.
Ooh, this sounds pretty nice.
So what happened is I asked her if she's ever been on those very old buses, and she said that she hasn't, and that she said that her husband is a bus driver, and he wants to actually drive one of them. Okay, she's very nice. So what happened is we keep going down, and we get to this community pool. I'm sitting in it's a 60-foot long, so those bendy type buses. So we get to this community pool, and I'm in a seat. So I Google, we're going past her, about to go past. I am Googling stuff about buses, and then I hear a loud bang.
Oh.
I still remember the bang sound. I hear a loud bang, and then I'm like, what just happened? And I run to the back of the bus, and the bus is stopping. It's on a hard time, but I'm able to glance, and I see black debris behind us.
Wait, from
What
what?
I found out later is that a black sedan collided with the side of the bus.
Oh.
No one was hurt, luckily.
Yeah.
What happened is I never tell anyone the full story. Everyone here is gonna hear the full story of what happened.
Yeah. So anyway, so we passed that last station. That is the most interesting station design I've ever seen because oddly enough, there's only one platform on one track. It's like what? What was that station design? There's only one platform on one track.
Okay,
It's so
so
weird.
I get I so
This is Tamworth. This is a bit normal, more normal
so what
station.
happened is the driver gets out, I get out, and the sedan driver drove away and then ran back,
Ooh,
and
this is an
then they
interesting station
exchanged
design.
phone numbers, and then I get back in, and I still remember this. And what I hate about these buses, literally, they don't have motion sensors or a sensor. You have to push the door. So what happened is, I hate what happens with these things. Literally, what happened is when I walk back in by the rear door slams into me. But then opens back up. It slams into me hard, and then opens back up. And
Ooh, that's a bridge.
then the driver is talking to the guy, and so they exchange, and then another person comes up. They said apparently they have footage of what happened. So apparently
Tame viaduct.
so what happened is apparently he turned and then hit us. No, before that happens, I call my mom and say what happened. So I get back late. I'm not supposed to because of the. So I get back way later because of because I was in a bus accident now. And then what happens is we've been here for like 8 minutes now. Like 15
That's a
minutes.
retexture.
So what happens
Oh,
is then
him.
uh another driver comes up behind us, another bus, and he offers to take the passengers. And she said it's all right. It'll be okay. So then they agree, and then it takes place. Everyone goes except me. I stay on, and then she starts driving again, and then I say, should I tell everyone what happened? And are you gonna tell the passengers to come on what happened? And I'll say I'll offer, and then she say thank you. And then the bus starts becoming wobbly, and then she pulls over, and thankfully the one behind, yeah, the guy behind it, I think his name's Elliot. I think I remember his name was Elliot. He pulls over. And then I run to the bus, and then she told me to run. I run, and then she runs as well. And apparently, what happened is she said apparently that hit also punctured one of the tires slowly. So what happens? I tell Elliot, and then we're driving, and then that's it. And I tell my mom I'm on my way home. And that's it.
Yes.
No real collision, like heavily damaged, like what happened when the ones crashed into the Salvation Army.
Hey, it's coming up on Lakesfield. The speed limit's not going back up to 125, although, well, really it's 110 for slower trains, which is why I'm going to be a bit more realistic here and just stick to 110. As the game continues to lag for a reason I have no idea, and yeah, I don't left the call. Actually, did he left the call? Yeah.
The Domtron's gone.
Well, no idea where Domtron went.
I don't know where he went.
Yeah, so he got interrupted with and left the call without telling us, or he just
maybe it was another thing to do with that accident.
Maybe.
And then I stopped going on that route for a while.
Oh, this is Litchfield.
I stopped going on the 49 for a while. That's where it occurred, the accident.
It's curved.
When I went back, I think I think I went the day after, and then I tried to recreate the series of events. I sat in the same spot. I looked on my phone. I tried to recreate, see if it would happen again. if we could if I could, might be able to recreate the series of events happen again. Well, I stopped doing that thing that certain route after for a while, and then I think I tried to recreate it way later, and then I stopped riding the 49 for a while. And then I came back, I tried to recreate it, and I forgot which seat I sat in.
Okay, so we're now 15 miles away from Stafford. And we're going to switch to the other train.
I actually really don't know how it what happened is, I could tell you what I was Googling. I was Googling because there is a type of bus called a Celsior Charge, H2 and a Charge, and I was trying to Google if they had them, but they weren't called by that name, so I got a weird website, and then I hear the bang. Yeah.
Oh, what thing is this?
I can still remember what the bangs sounded like. I have not forgotten what the bangs sounded like.
Yes. Anyway, so I guess
I'm just guessing the sedan was black.
Oh, that's a greenhouse.
Because I saw black debris behind us, so I just guessed if the sedan was black. I just guessed the sedan was black.
Yeah, so anyway, talking about, thoughts on the route so far. There are some interesting things to see, but I guess there isn't much in terms of, well, yeah, I guess then the linearity around sort of starts to kick in a bit. But, I mean, it looks nice, and I paid, only enough. This route came out in 2015. And I actually paid $16 for this route and the sale.
Oh yeah, but I was actually a bit too. I stopped. I think I was a bit too scared to go back on the 49 again. It was a stressful time actually that time.
Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
So $16 for this route for a $50 route. I mean no, $16 for a $15 route. That makes sense. $16 for a 50-mile long route that has nice scenery. I mean, it's the West Coast main line. It's nice to have an updated West Coast main because the West Coast main North. I mean, West Coast main North isn't a bad route either, but since that was released in 2011, it's a bit dated. I guess actually it's a good thing. I actually thinking now I could have also gone West Coast main over Shap, but looking back. I'm actually quite glad that I got this route for interesting reason. So as you may or may not know, this route. When I say this route, let's say that the careers or the scenarios included with this route feature announcements. So I'm just gonna give those a whirl and
Is it an automated announcement system?
Well, it's basically programmed into this scenario because you can't actually hear the announcements anywhere outside the scenario. Like if you're driving in a quick drive or freeway, you're not going to hear the announcements because they're.
Oh yeah.
Because they.
Oh yeah. Okay. That just reminds me of Trains Simulator 2, the mobile one. That reminds me of one of the scenarios in it that has like full audio interactive.
Okay, the speed change is.
Did you know some of the scenarios have a full audio interface?
Yeah, I know that some of them have like the
full
radio
audio
control.
No, that's not what I mean. Some of the some of the some of the routes actually have full audio voiced.
Oh, this is Regally Slow, which has 2 platforms.
Like if you know, it usually says like dispatcher. Usually says like in some routes the name dispatcher. On some routes in it, literally what will happen. Some of the routes are fully voiced, so a guy will be actually saying what it said.
Oh, the 90s Vehicle?
Like
Come
like the
on.
I think it was part of Train Driver Journeys.
Ah.
If you know that pack,
Yeah, I know the pack, and it's
it's
soft G.
is it main bad?
Well, it's not. Well, it's kind of a rip off.
Yeah, they just ripped off Train Driver 2 stuff, but I think they have some exclusive stuff on it. Like
Yeah,
fully voiced interactive.
not
Like
quite. I don't think there's
fully
actually any
voiced.
exclusive stuff because, oddly enough, they released the Train Driver Journeys packs, and then, oddly enough, they released those same packs as DLCs for Train Simulator 2. Like I remember at one point the Ave
I think it's
train.
actually it's if you can't afford it or something.
Yeah, because I know for fact the Ave Maria or the Spanish route.
Oh
Um,
yeah, a very
yeah, that
I
one.
forget.
That was initially released as its own standalone train or train driver journeys app thing, and it was just the singular route with the singular trains, and it
Yeah, but
was boring.
I believe
Ooh, that's curved.
NV3 environment actually messed up the route builder.
Yeah, but then what happened is that later on down the road, that same Abe Maria DLC thing for Train Driver Journeys was released as its own or as a DLC for Train Simulator 2, so you can actually use the assets from that route on your own route or other routes that are included with the game with Trains 2, which I think is stupid because oddly enough, I actually bought the Abe Maria thing DLC for Train Driver Journey.
I own both.
Only to get ripped off.
I bought both so I can use the
Yeah.
assets.
Yeah, so Train Driver 2 was a pretty stupid thing. I don't know why they just did that.
Well, no, Train Driver Journey was stupid.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, and I think the worst part about Train Driver Journey is that they have these images. Like, oddly enough, when Train Driver Journey is released, the
Oh yeah,
look
no, this is another example
the
of
look
Train
of the
Driver
app
Journeys.
icon is basically shows a train that's not even included with the game
Yeah,
itself.
yeah.
So it's like, why?
Well, except one of them.
We'll come from Milford. E.
I think except one of the packs, it shows it one that's included. But I was meaning to talk about this one, this pack.
Oh, we're going this way.
It was also released as a Train Driver Journey, but I think it also it had the right like train for the icon as well.
Hmm.
So it's also done. I think you know the one I'm talking about.
No, actually, I forgot.
Also, Winter in the Alps.
Oh yeah, I remember. Wait, that was an. Yeah, I remember. That's another DLC that thing was exclusively released
There's
as a
also a
Train
Train
Driver
Driver.
Dirty thing that was eventually became a DLC for Trains 2. I don't know if I don't think I actually got the Winter in the Alps thing until that came as a
I
DLC for
got
Trains
it.
2 or something.
I bought all of them in Australia
Oh.
when I was there.
Anyway, so 3 miles away from Stafford, so we will soon have driven this entire route in the span of only
But yeah,
38 in-game minutes.
if you want to know why I actually went there, it was actually to see some friends. And actually, one of the friends is here in Canada right now.
Hmm.
One of the friends from Australia that I went to see. That's why I went there.
Hmm.
That's how we met.
Let's see, where's my destination? My destination is Stafford, which is in 2.7 miles. Yeah, so this road actually goes from Stafford to Rugby on the West Coast Main Line, which is a pretty short distance. I've come to realize, like it's only 50 miles long, which is only half as long as the West Coast Main Line North. And I think it's still shorter than the West Coast Main Line over Shap. I don't actually know the length of West Coast Main Line over Shap. And even then, yeah. You might be asking, well, are you ever gonna get West Coast Main Line short? The answer to that is, nah. I really don't need it because I mean, yeah, it's another part of the West Coast Main Line that's up to date, but at the same time, this doesn't suit me. So, show after the stream. Possibly. Okay, I don't get the frame rate on this route. Is this the route, or is this the game, or my machine, or something?
Okay, I'll be right back. I just need to go do something.
Okay. Oh, the sound's kicking in. Yeah, I was actually going to talk about this earlier, but yeah, the main difference really between the Class 450 and the Class 450 is that 350. The 350 is actually a dual voltage EMU, which so that means that it can run under overhead and third rail as well, whereas the 450 only runs on third rail, and it sounds like different as well. But yeah, only enough, the Class 450 is so similar to Class 350 that I'm surprised, they just came in, took the 450 included with ports of direct line, and again made into Class 350. And includes a few liveries as well. Not just London Midland. I just London Midland because it's the livery that runs on this route in real life. I'm actually thinking now I should have put down the other liveries in the Class 350, but in the Class 350 answered pack. But yeah, it's not really necessary actually.
Okay.
I think you guys can actually watch some surprise trailer video for that. Okay, I don't understand the video game like at all. Oh, there's the stuff included with the route. I'm just gonna go over that in a second when we stop at Stafford. This is coming up soon. Alright. Oh, we're changing track. Okay.
Okay.
Alright, we're pulling up to Stafford, which is the other end of the route, the northern end. And only if we went from the southern end of the route to the northern end of the route. And if we look over, there's our train that we shall drive back down the other direction, back to Rugby. A train that is very interesting, and I will show it off shortly. First thing you know, we gotta come to a stop. Oh, that's a red. Fitting. Stop. And we've come to a stop. So while our train completes the duty, I'm gonna now go over the stuff. Alright, so as you see in this yard here, this here is the stuff that you get with the West Coast Line Trent Valley. So to start off, you get this Class 350, which is not the same as the one we drove. In fact, it's a worse looking one because
Okay, you've been transferred.
yeah, because you know what I said about the Class 350 being very similar to the 450. Oddly enough, Thompson Interactive, when they made this route, they had the same idea, and they basically took the Class 450, as in the Dovetail one from 2010, which was released with the original Ports Direct line that came out back in 2010, and they retextured it. And they added a pantograph onto this thing to make this into the Class 350. And the textures really aren't that much better. I mean, sure, the textures are slightly better than the original 2010 version of the Class 450, but not by too much. And also, the sounds of the physics are exactly the same from the original 450 as well. And let's say the original sounds from the 450 are dreadful, and they're absolutely terrible. So they just copied on this thing, and yeah, it's a class for the 350 that is complete rubbish. And if you want a nice class 350 to actually drive, then take the class 350 and go with the, or take the class 350 that's in the class 15 track. Yes, Hoobie?
I had to transfer you to my phone.
Okay. Anyway, also with the route, not
I'm
only
heading out.
Okay, so not only do you get the Class 350, you also get the Class 66 V4 in DRS, Direct Rail Services, which is very similar to the previous Class 66s, so I don't think there's really anything truth really there. And you also get an assortment of these wagons here, which are not, well, the same type of wagon as the ones included with the Class 90 DLC. But at the same time, they are different, and they're all different liveries and stuff, and different types as well. So here's another row there. They may have sort of squeezed and everything together, so you can't exactly see everything, but you sort of get an idea of what you're getting with this pack, or with this DLC. There's actually quite a bit of these flatbeds, and in the different forms. So another line here, AGT. Okay, so you can just have a look at everything. So there's all the unique wagons that are included with this DLC as well, which I think actually look half impressive, and I quite like them for the most part. The run sounds are kind of rubbish, but it's interesting though. Also, cargo shipping. Like, oh, that's a generic thing. Oh, this is Camson. For some reason, I thought it was actually like the real Mesmeric branding, but it's a knockoff. And that's all the voice like they get with the class with the West Coast Mainline Trent Valley. You get basically get a class 350, which is trash. You get a class 66, which is all right, and you get all these wagons here, which look good, and the run sounds are decent, I guess. So that's all the DLC there, or that's all the include content. And back to our own train. Yeah, you can tell why you tend to use the Optimal Power Class 350 now. It's because it's good. It's actually good. Anyway, now let's switch to the other train. The train that we'll be driving back down to Rugby, as the other train is pulling forwards for some reason. Also, the David's focus on the scenario as of today. Anyway, so here we are in the Class 390. Well, yeah, now we're in the Class 390. Yes.
I can't stop laughing about the Train Driver 2 thing.
Okay.
That video you did.
Which one?
Let me find it. It was called the. Let me find. It was called Plot Twist.
Oh yes, that one. Anyway, so as you guys know, in a previous Transmitter live stream, which fittingly enough, the last one that I did it to today, well, unless you count yesterday's stream, was Farewell Virgin Trains West Coast. And as we all know, Avani West Coast. As we all know, Avani West Coast would be taking over from Virgin Trains West Coast, and this is it. This is what all the Clash of Independence will be looking like now, as Avani West Coast officially taking over the franchise. As for Train Simulator, as you know, we start with the default Clash of Independence, except with the Modern Horn, because the default horn of the Clash of 90 is shocking. However, we now have the Class 390 Pendolino enhanced by the Option Powerhouse, because I also got the Option Powerhouse sound pack for the Class 390 Pendolino, which makes this train so much more tolerable to drive, because the default sounds were just garbage for the most part on the Class 390 Pendolino, but then when you get the Option Powerhouse sound pack, it sounds almost like the real thing. Well, I think exactly like the real thing. Anyways, it says, you see it looks terrible. You're referring to the Class 390 Pendolino, because I think this livery is actually pretty alright. I mean, for me, the thing about the Avani West Coast livery, which is what they look like now, is that this did take some time for this scheme to grow on me, because at first it didn't really just flow the right way. Like, if you look into the design of the livery, it kind of just hits you in a way. But once you sort of watch it fly by for a bit, it flows better. Except for maybe this this sandwich-looking car. I don't know why the frame rate is still absolutely terrible. And yeah, since we're in the penalty now, we're going on the fast line. So we can actually go fast. But yeah, so this livery, it's certainly not as flowy as the original Virgin Trains livery, but it's a
Ronnie?
livery. Yes.
Just letting you know, I'm gonna be muted for a bit. That is because of something I have to do,
All right.
and so I can still get a hold of you.
Yes. Oh yeah, you listen.
I might also be muted for about an hour.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, good. I'll be muted.
And yeah, so it just makes this train just so much more tolerable to drive, really, because again, the default sounds of this thing were just hideous, but well, you get the point. I've said my piece by now. Also, yeah, of course, I figured out the speed set feature. I still can't figure out is the lag. Yeah, it's not so bad right now, actually, but I'm definitely going to have to. I'm definitely going to have to come by later and run the sea cleaner. Oh, you think such a call? Okay. Oh, I just exited out of Discord. Whoops. Well, that's... Darn it. Oh, did you hear the game just started there for a second? Get the lag. Oh, why is it so bad? Anyway, and since the train is speed set, the train can be nicer to or have a more convenient driving experience now. And I guess now that Hoobie is now left the call of the chat, I guess now I can sort of talk a bit more myself. Thank goodness. Listen to the run sounds, even at 9 miles per hour. Yes. You know, as someone who has watched about 100 videos of the Class 1 independently, I can confirm that's what they sound like when going by. Also, another thing I love about the sound pack is the way that the interior run sounds sound like you listen to the interior run sounds in the cab or in general. It sounds so real. You know, this is also shouldn't be surprised, but I am very pleased at just how realistic this train is now with how realistic the train sounds with the sound pack. I mean, yeah, since only a sound pack and not a handset pack, Ultra Pros couldn't really add too many features, and I say couldn't because, for the longest time this train was copyrighted by Virgin Trains. And, I don't like your K-Pen. Well, come on. I actually think the pens look really cool. Yeah, if I'm just gonna say this for anybody who may already know, for me personally, the Class 390D Pendolino is my personal favorite British train because the thing about the Pendolino is that it's it's high speed first of all, and I think the biggest reason why this train is my favorite of all British trains is because this train is it has a lot in common with my favorite train of all time, which is the Acela Express, because the Pendolinos again they have a lot in common with the Acela, like the Pendolino and the Acela, they both run on high speed routes that aren't exactly high speed because it has a lot of curves and stuff, which is why both trains need to tilt. So both tilting trains as well, and both run at about the same speed. I say that of course the Acela can do up to 150, and whereas the Pendolino can only do 125 because of the way the routes it up. But I bet you the Pendolino could also do 150 miles per hour on the West Coast Mainline if they would just straighten out the track a bit. I think they're pretty stylish as well. Although I will say, if you say the Pendleino looks ugly in the Avani West Coast livery, you have to look at it in the Virgin Trains livery, the livery that this train initially came in. Because really, when it comes to liveries in the Pendleino, you can't really get much better than the original Virgin Trains livery. And of course there were variations over the years. Then there was also the Alstom variant of the Pendleino, which I thought was really cool, and there were other variants as well, which were interesting. Although of course they introduced the flowing silk paint scheme, which is still not the best looking paint scheme ever. But I at least understand though why the flowing silk paint scheme existed. Because as you know, Virgin Trains in late 2017, Virgin Trains basically knew that at a certain time they were going to be losing the license or losing the franchise of the West Coast Mainline North. So basically, to make the transition easier, I guess, from one railway company to another, like it's just happened recently with the Bonnie West Coast, is simply to strip off all the paint that the Pendleinos had before, and then paint them white, and then put back on the Virgin logo in the form of a vinyl sticker. This way, that when the new railway company comes in, all they have to do is just peel off the Virgin logo, which is a really easy thing to do. And then just wrap the train up in this new livery. Yes, I can confirm this is a wrap and not a paint job, because Avani themselves actually showed a short little time lapse of the wrap itself on Twitter. And it's almost 5:55. We're only just leaving Rugby. Although with how fast this train is, we'll get to. Well, I say Stafford. I feel like we just left Stafford. But we're only 10 miles in, so yeah. With the speed of this train, we'll get to Rugby in no time. But yeah, so oddly enough though, for Bonnie to not disturb, service, of course they wrap one train at a time. Where I guess one at a time they bring in the Pendleino into the shop, wrap it up in the Avani West Coast livery, and then send it off back on its way. So that's why that's why there was some penalties that were just blank, where there's basically no paint on it, or I say no paint, no design on it, because it was paint, but it was just white. There was no design to it, just plain Jane white. Just vanilla white with nothing else. And I guess, getting back to the paint scheme itself, the Avani West Coast livery, it's not the best paint scheme ever. I will say that, but let's say it's it's still at least nice to look. Well, tolerable to look at anyway. Well, at least from my point of view. I mean, it's certainly not as good as the Virgin Trains livery, the original Virgin Trains livery, but Alright, flyby time. The Avani West Coast livery actually looks even more sleeker when you see the train going by. And I guess one thing I should mention is that it was actually, I guess one thing about this paint scheme, not to develop the train scheme, I was actually a bit surprised at how quickly the Avani West Coast livery came into Train Simulator, because oddly enough, I think it was right around the time that Avani West Coast actually took over the West Coast Mainline on December 8th of last year. Major Will's Design, who was the creator of this reskin, made this reskin and then published it to the internet, I guess one thing I should also say about deliveries that does require the Unsung Prowess sound pack, and although if you own the Pendleino DLC for Train Simulator, why wouldn't you want to get the Class 90 sound pack? It just makes this train better. Also, yeah, like since I have the space, I'm not having to touch the controls. I'm just letting the train just drive. Oh yes. Okay, although the joint sounds are not the most realistic things. I mean, they're not bad, but yeah, I realize I think they have a bit more of a deep tone to them, as I heard when I watched videos of Class 390 going over a junction. Yeah. And I think one thing I forgot to mention when talking about the floating silk paint scheme. You know, Virgin were kind of forced to do it. Like I bet you that Virgin Trains, they really didn't want to paint their trains in such a bland and boring looking livery when you have such a cool looking livery already. But you know, at the same time, considering the fact that well, I'm not actually sure who it was that told Virgin, hey, you gotta make your trains look more basic in preparation for the next railway company because you're gonna be losing the West Coast Managed franchise in a certain amount of time. You know, it's like, you know, it's a shame, really. And I only know if they even did the same thing with the Voyagers because you know the Voyagers also got the flowing silk paint scheme treatment. And what's even other about that? On the side note, the volume of that water, while it is nice, it's way too loud. I can hear it inside the cab for some reason, even though I shouldn't be able to, because that's not realistic. I put that camera on the floor. Oh. Or don't, that works. Anyway, yeah. I'm definitely gonna miss the old Virgin Trains livery. Cause I'd say it's still the best livery that this train was ever in. But we have to move on with the times, I suppose. This Avani West Coast livery, it's not half bad either. It's at least better than the Floyd Silk paint scheme, you know. At least now the Pendolinos are in an actual design again. Although what's odd about the Voyagers that, like I said earlier, they also received the flowing silk treatment because they were thinking that the Voyagers are also going to be going to whatever company's going to take over the West Coast Main Line. And of course, as we found out in late November of last year, it was Avani West Coast that was going to be taking over the West Coast Main Line. And oddly enough, the thing about Avani West Coast is that let's just say that they're a green company, and you know, which means that, you know, Avani, they want to save the environment and burn as fuel emissions as possible. And doing that, they basically have to get rid of the Voyagers, basically. You know, basically the Avani doesn't want to, they don't like the Voyagers very much. So, you know, the oddest thing about that is that the Voyagers were given the flowing silk paint scheme, but what's even more odd about that is that apparently the Voyagers are going to be going back to Virgin Trains, which is going to have another line in the UK now. So the Voyagers, they'll still be around, like I said, they'll still be on Virgin Trains. So it's like, you know, and even then when Virgin gets their Voyagers back, they're going to have to repaint all those back into the Virgin Trains livery. Also, how good is the gyroscope thing on this? Not that bad, actually. Okay, we can stop lying so I can show off the Pendolino in more epic fashion. One other fun fact that I'm also going to mention is that the Pendolinos, or the Pendolino DLC for Train Smayer, the new one, as in the Dovetail one, when you get that Pendolino, which is this Pendolino, that also includes scenarios for the West Coast Main Trent Valley, so yeah, so now I can also play the scenarios included with the Class 1 Pendolino on this route. Even though I might. I'm not actually sure. Well, I probably will. One thing I'm definitely going to do out this stream, though, is want to clean up on my computer so I can speed up the frame rate a bit. Also, I like how the ETA is 13, 16. Interruption. I am back. And forgot what I was gonna say. So, yay. But yeah. I forgot what I was gonna say. Anyway, oh yeah, but it was ETA. Yeah, I like how we still have 25 miles to go to rugby, but we're going so fast that it's gonna go by pretty quickly. So this won't be too long of a live stream, actually. Probably end about. Well, probably about 6:20 now, based on the ETA. Maybe even sooner than that, with how fast we're going. But it's at least nice to have a more up-to-date version with the West Coast Main Trent Valley. I'm not actually sure. Tap more range on Discord. Yeah, I see. Well, I can't do that right now because I decided to call the Discord on my computer. So, sausage. Oh, here's this station again. Yeah, you want to know the richest thing about this station? There's two platforms, but the only platform that's actually in use is this one here, which is only on one side of the rail. This other platform is disused. That is the silliest station design I have ever come across in all my life. I don't even think this is like a real station. I think this is actually might be the least used station on the West Coast Main Line actually. But hey, it might be good for train spotting. Worst one. Well, actually, did I say worst one? Well, I guess worst station designs as well. It's definitely one of the silliest station designs I've ever seen. Like, and what's even worse that this is the West Coast Main Line, which is a major line in Britain. And yeah, in Britain, you got Pendolinos going through, and you got the Class 350s, which I think at this point the Class 350 is like the main commuter train on this route. So you have that stopping at most of the stations, maybe even all of the stations in some case. And only enough, when you're going north, you can actually get on the Class 350 from that station. But then when you're going south, which would the side that the disused platform is on, you can't get off at the station because the train doesn't stop there because the platform is disused. So I just don't get the point of that station at all because it's. As well on a route like this, like I can understand a station like that on a route that isn't used so much, but this is the West Coast Main Line. This is high up in the ranks. It's right up with the East Coast Main Line, which of course another major rail line in Britain. I have never seen a station design like that in all my life. Alright, see you after dinner, Snoopy. That's if I see you after dinner. My stream might end soon, actually. The ETA is 16:11. I think it's still going down, so we're gonna be at rugby pretty soon, actually. I'm impressed with how quickly you can complete this route in this train. And even I was expecting the speed limits to be high, and they definitely are. Well, high for the West Coast Main anyway. I think the highest speed limit on the West Coast Main is 125 indeed. So yeah, it only makes sense that the speed limit is that high. Or, well, Also I just had an epiphany about the Class 350 included with this route. Well, how did Thompson allow that, honestly? Like, they make such a nice looking route with such nice assets. But the rolling stock, well, I say the rolling stock, the Class 350 is utter garbage. It's like, Thompson, when they got to the rolling stock, well, one of the 350 in general, they couldn't be bothered to make their own new model. So, you know, they must have asked Dovetail, like Thompson, when they were making the class 50, they were like, "Hey, Dovetail, we know they got a class 450. Can we use it? Can we turn that into a class 350 using an honor route?" And Dovetail were like, "Sure, why not?" Despite the fact that at the time that this route was released, the class 450, the original class 450, was 5 years old. Yes, a 5-year-old train being resurrected to use for a route that has set the bar pretty high for train simulator routes. It's like, why are you giving us this garbage? Yeah, and I'm not even gonna drive the class. Yeah, I'm not gonna drive the class 50 with this route or on the live stream because it's not worth it. If you want a good quality class 350, just get the Optimus Prowess one because that's a good train. As I showed today on the first half of the stream. Well, first, going up the line, I should say. Yeah. Yeah. But I just, let's see, can't limit, oh, of course. Yeah. I just had to do some stuff, so unfortunately not. Yeah, so those I mentioned to be lying down on back for a bit, that might do some messing around on trains. Like, also, this is a rather high speed limit for a thing. Like, look at this interlocking here. Yeah. That's a bit weird, like I'm doing 125 through, but oh well. Of course, we can get the full speed experience because of how laggy this route is for some reason. I just don't understand why. So you can do it. I just said that I can't do that right now, I'm afraid, because I have some stuff to do after this live stream. I say stuff, I'm really gonna be just resting my back for a bit, and then sausages. Might be back on later, actually. Maybe in, I don't know, a couple hours, I'm not sure. I'll text you when I know. And you know the thing about this live stream, the in-game time is now 16:04, and this live stream though is going for, well, an hour and, well, no, I say that the real time is now 6:12 p.m. So the game is actually 7 minutes behind, well, 7 minutes and so many hours behind real life time. And I bet you that this live stream would have been a little bit faster had this route not been so laggy. I don't know what. Is it the game? Is it the route? Or is it because of the fact that I'm on my computer sometimes? I don't know. Tell you what, what I might actually do is that after the stream or sometime later, I'll run the C cleaner, clean up the computer, and then I'll restart my computer and then try this route again and just see what happens. It's not gonna actually use the routes. Now that I'm driving in this live stream. So 10 miles go to Rugby. Oops. There we go. But apparently it's just such a cool train. I will say. You know, oddly enough, when Virgin Trains actually first took over the West Coast Mainline franchise, I think it was Virgin that is actually responsible for the Pendolinos. I think it was when Virgin actually took over the West Coast Mainline. It was then that they contacted Alstom and, paid them to build the Pendolinos for this route. Because oddly enough, the APT train, their the APT Class 370. Oddly enough, that was a tilde train that went on the East Coast or West Coast Mainline. Except oddly enough, the APT was such a failure of a train, as in because it had those problems. It was then that the APT was, or I say it was then that tilde trains were just weren't a thing in Britain, and they just went back to using conventional trains for the West Coast Main Line. Then Virgin, of course, came along. Then they built the Pendolinos, and the Pendolinos, whilst also being a tilting high-speed train, the Pendolinos have proven to be much more successful, having been in service since the very early 2000s, and they're still thriving today, and are probably going to be on these West Coast Main for at least maybe another 10 to 15 years. So it's nice to know that Bonnie is keeping them, whilst giving them a new look. But the Pendolino is actually just a nice train to drive, and well, maybe not just train, but also real life. If you're to compare the Acela for whatever reason to a British train, compare it to the Class 1 Pendolino, because the Pendolino shares really the most amount of similarity to Acela. In fact, really, the two trains have a lot in common, really. Although, oddly enough, the one thing that they don't have in common is how long they're gonna last. Oddly enough, the Acelas, the current Acelas, are gonna be phased out soon, whereas the Pendolinos are gonna be around for at least another decade, maybe even more than that. That's how the Pendolinos are treated. And since the Bonnie West Coast, Bonnie West Coast, I think they're going to be, of course, giving the voyages back to Virgin, but they're still keeping the Pendolinos, and I'm glad they are. Because it's honestly, right now, there's just absolutely no reason to replace the Pendolinos. They're just the perfect train for a route like this. Well, perfect high-speed train for a route like this. Whereas the Acelas, the Acelas, they were good trains as well. I think the Acelas, they could have also been used, well, in theory could have been used on the, if those trains were, if the Acela was used for British standards, but, since the Acela is on the Northeast Corridor, a route that is most of the time not very fast. Well, I say not very fast. It just doesn't allow the Acela to get up to its full potential. And oddly enough, Amtrak is waiting until now to get around to revamping the Northeast Corridor to get it ready for the new Acela, which is coming into service soon. Also, but on the side note, we are now closing on Rugby. I have to slow down quite a bit. Going through this section here. Oh, that's on the Trent Valley? Huh. I think it was on the Trent Valley. I recognize that section from something. Or from video. This is on nice. I'm not sure if the pen actually stops at this station in real life. But, so there's going to be back just in time for the conclusion of this live stream as we're now slowing down for Rugby. Yeah, so I'm not actually sure if the Pendolino stops at Rugby in real life. So what I missed, I didn't miss much. We pretty much talked about the Pendolino and stuff, but I guess he did most of the Pendolino on the West Coast Main Line, Trent Valley. So here we come up to Rugby now. Very laggy Rugby for some reason. I believe this platform is just long enough to fit an entire 9-car set of the Pendleino. I chose 9-car set specifically because the 11-car set just it didn't look like it wanted. I don't think it wanted to fit in the platform, so that's why I've taken the 9-car set because it's shorter and actually fits in the platform. Yeah, I think the Pendleino. Yeah, the Pendleino does stop here. I remember seeing Pendleino stopping signs. Also, I think the Pendleino is actually the direct service from Stafford to Rugby. So yesterday, semi-realistic. Let's see, semi-realistic. A mostly realistic Pendleino service on the West Coast Trent Valley from Stafford to Rugby. So let's bring her to a stop now. Ah, yes. Oh, one guy noticed with the racing, you see here with this logo, when I get close up, the logo disappears. I'm not sure why that's a thing. Could be just limitation with train submitting, it's reskinning, or something that I don't know. And so welcome to Rugby, or I should say welcome back to Rugby. Yeah. There's this stuff back here. Actually, one thing I never actually showed off the map of this route. So this guy, so the game doesn't like too much. This is where we are here at Rugby, and the route actually continues down for a bit here, which is when it eventually ends, because it ends. Also, this stuff here though, which is also quite interesting. We then have this turn off here, which goes to nowhere, and then we have the road stuff that goes up. Yeah, so we're at this station here, Nuneaton. There's quite some stuff going on with it. And the kink. Oh, I completely forgot about this. I was gonna check out this station. Well, after that, and this is Tamsworth. I forgot the station had this feature here, which I forgot to look at. So I'll see that another time. Oh, this station has like the same thing. This is Litchfield. This track goes here as well. Up here, this goes down to this here. This is Wagili Town. Like, it doesn't diverge that far off of the main line. You have this little spur here, which goes nowhere. You have this spur here, which goes nowhere, and you have Stafford, and then like it continues just for a bit, and then it ends. So overall, it's a very interesting route in terms of its features. It's a very linear route. So, yeah. Get used to being stuck on one path. He says, yeah, he paid $16 for the route. Well, see the fact that this route is 5 years old now and is made by Thompson Interactive, third-party developer. I don't really expect this route to go down any lower, or maybe it will, and I just don't know it, or something. But that is going to be the conclusion of this live stream. Next live stream is going to be next week. I'm not sure. Well, it's going to be a Wednesday. I may or may not squeeze in another live stream next week. But I do plan to do at least one live stream next week, which would be a thing. We'll see what happens. So I didn't find something that interesting, but there wasn't. Yeah, I mean, it's not the most interesting part, or it's not the most interesting route in the world, but there are at least some good parts, I will say. At least route will now be usable in my transfer pricing because I have rolling stock. That's good quality that I can run this route on. So it's usable for the Pendleino and the 350, and whatever other train I have that runs on the East Coast, West Coast, and Life, which is, I do have some. Anyway, so again, that's gonna be the conclusion of this live stream. So with that being said, I hope you have enjoyed this live stream. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm gonna lie down for a bit and maybe return to Discord later. I'm not sure. Let's have that, and I will see you in whatever happens next. See you then, guys. Bye bye.